uh,
Okay.
good. The first two color pictures, I worked on what we did last time. I was trying to follow your suggestions about, kind of finishing them up.
Okay.
So, uh, Grubhub.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you'll have good food when you get here. This is my favorite. You have to go there. It's my favorite hoagie shop.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah. It's right around the corner from my house. It's very convenient.
okay. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's super good. All right. Let me see.
Do you have okay, these are for the workshop. So let's look at
Okay.
the other ones first. Oh, you want to talk about
Well,
the workshop?
I love this one so much. How did you do this? So
I do love it.
I love
Well,
it.
again, you're from your workshops and what you're teaching me, I've opened up the way I shoot. So I had this model lying down on
Oh
the
my God,
ground
it's
sheet,
so beautiful.
and I borrowed a little baby, and I had a baptism dress, and I had a vintage dress for her.
Oh my
And
God.
Oh, I really want to talk to you
Wait,
about
is this
this.
baby real or not real?
No, no, no. It's a doll. It's a
Oh
baby
my
doll.
God, it looks so real. You did such
Good.
a great job. Oh my God. Oh my,
Well,
it's
so
so,
what I wanted to talk to you about this was this woman. She's not a model. She's actually a midwife.
uh-huh.
She was a midwife, and I thought, oh, we've done some other things down by the creek and all that. And I said, I'm
Yeah.
going to borrow a baby doll and just put it in there. So
Yeah.
we did some things, and she's hugging the doll, kind of traditional ones, and then all of a sudden, you know, but I wasn't really direct. At first, I was directing her, and then all of a sudden, she just kind of turned away from the doll, and then she
Oh
was
yeah.
doing things that were covering her eyes, and then she turned away, and I thought,
Yeah.
wow, and I just thought this is incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
And
And it'll be it's already kind of waxy.
that's kind of the way I wanted to do it. But so then a couple of days later, I usually let models come in and look at things that I think are possible, and get their take on, and if they have a favorite, I'll work on that.
Yeah.
So I did this, and I said, "This is incredible. Where
No, it's,
you
it's,
went into a different narrative on this." And she had tears in her eyes, and she said,
oh,
I've had several miscarriages.
oh,
And I thought, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do something that would trigger you. And she said, no, it's really healing.
yeah,
So and then I saw you had posted some things about pictures that you were pictures that were healing. And I thought, wow,
yeah,
this is opening a whole new area for me.
yeah,
And then I did another set that I'm not doing for wax now, but it also was a healing for this woman. And that wasn't my intention, but she started going into this thing. And actually, she did this gesture,
mm,
and then she went on. And I said, wait a minute, let's go back to that gesture. Let me
mm-hmm.
work with that. And we did. And then she told me the story, and I thought, wow, that's incredible. So
Yeah.
I have to tell you, it seems like we're doing wax and caustic, but I keep thinking you're opening up the photographs for me.
Well, definitely. I mean, it affects everything. I mean, the more everything affects everything. That's how I was feeling about even like all the printmaking work I was doing and the jelly plate printing and stuff last year. Is it just sort of was opening up new ways of seeing and different ways of approaching
Mhm.
the work, and then sort of your color palette and then the mood. I mean, this is already so waxy. I mean, it's like it's just really beautiful. I mean, I think your wax treatment of this, and when you do paint it,
Mm.
is not gonna you're not gonna have to be, heavy handed. You're gonna be able to be very light and soft. And then
Yeah.
maybe you can play around with like the color palette, or
Hmm.
even the bottom, like where, and again, this could be something that we do like the ladies in the tree, where you take this image and you exercise it a couple different ways.
Yeah. No, I
And you
definitely.
really you really explore like all the possibilities, like let your imagination go wild and figure out, like what happens if you make it like more literal,
Hmm.
what happens if you make it smaller in the canvas, what happens if you make
Hmm.
it bigger in the canvas, what happens if work more on her dress, or what if you
Right.
put a cloud or clouds or sky behind her, like
Ooh, cool. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like where, you know, where is this? You can create all those narrative sort of
Right.
visual components that
Yeah.
are combine it with another image, you know, like what else can you
Yeah.
do to it? Because again, you're moved away from more of that like portrait type image, which I think just gives you so much more space to use your
Yeah.
visual art, you know, to use the art, to use the medium to express things that
Hmm.
are sort of
Hmm.
not as specific.
Yeah, I'm loving what's happening. There are different variations of this, and we might even want to play with variations of it. But yeah, so for the workshop, what
Okay, we're gonna
I
print this one,
yeah, okay, so
and you gave
that
me the
one,
instructions. This one,
yeah, so this is just a JPEG of a 100-year-old photograph of my
uh-huh.
grandmother.
Okay,
And that's the way it is, just like that. And I thought,
okay,
okay, I'll just show that to you because maybe we want to work with that type. I also pulled it into black and white and I made it a square, you know,
look at
to,
these. Look, that just reminded me of these. Look at these. So I just got this notification, but you'll see it when you get here. It's like, I really love this work.
oh
This guy's
yeah,
work. Yeah, the flower with the leaf. This reminds me of your picture of her. You know, like
yeah,
where it's so
yeah.
cool.
Well, you know, but I was also thinking of the wood panels that you said, like the first one, yeah, I'd like as a 10 by 10 square.
Hmm.
This one, I worked up as an 8 by 10. And that's the third picture. It's just a black and white of this
Yeah.
on an 8 by 10 canvas. So it's easy to just plop down there if I wanted to. But I wanted to show you the original.
Uh-huh.
What I'd like to do with both of them, I realize um, you know, of course, I'm still working with wax and paper. But I think what really is holding me back right now is feeling more comfortable with painting flowers because I
Okay.
keep doing workarounds, and you know, and I like what's happening with the workarounds, but I do not like any of the flower practice study
Okay.
pieces I've done. They're so literal. I just want to free it up and be more comfortable with painting flowers on. So I want to allow plenty of room on each of these two pieces for the workshop to do
So
flowers.
I think we have to kind of go over to all of the like it's that whole six of one, half dozen of another. There are literally like for any of these design, I'm just gonna take the screen share off for a second. Hold on.
Okay.
For any of these sort of desired ideas that you have about incorporating other elements,
Yeah.
there's literally like more than one way to do it, right?
Okay.
So you have to kind of like explore, and that's why I'm really trying to get you to work on one image more than one time.
Mhm. And I
And then
really like doing that. Yeah.
so and then the more you sure of the style of work that you want to make, and like okay, you want to do like this picture and you want to add flowers. So let's just say there's three specific ways that you could take the picture and add flowers. I mean,
Okay.
for me, one of the things that gets me started with the whole floral thing is that when I take the picture and I put it on the board, is I incorporate some type of collage floral, right?
Hmm.
Or
Okay.
added floral structure. Sometimes I incorporate that actually in the photo shoot. So
Hmm.
often that's also like where I'll start. And for me, like it might, if somebody really watched the whole process, they'd be like, how does that turn into that? But like when I do the shoot, I just sometimes like stick flowers in their
Right.
hair.
Right.
It's very kind of like rough and
Hmm.
not that finished, but I don't care because I know that if I have like just things sticking out of wherever that's where I'm gonna like add the flowers later and
Hmm.
make it better later. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm not that concerned with like in the photo shoot, like I'm not that concerned with the placement and all of this, all of that, blah, blah, blah. I'm much more concerned about just getting the idea of flowers added to the picture, and it's like on this side of her body or on that side.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just kind of shoot in different places and then I can pick it later. So
Hmm.
the second thing I can do, I did, yeah. And then the second thing I can do is I can add flowers with either like stampers,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Magazine cutouts
Hmm.
or other photos that I've taken.
Right.
Right. So like those are sort of like the categories that I go to. And then like yesterday, I literally went on like one of these scrapbook.com websites because I was at work.
Oh, right.
And I was just like checking them all out. And I was like, what? So they literally sell these like adhesive flowers that you can put on like furniture. What? That you can put on like furniture and stuff, but the adhesive, they're like transfers. So I was just gonna get some just to see. I mean, people primarily use them for furniture, but because we're using wood panels, I mean,
Why
if you've
not?
got like
Yeah.
vintage flat, like there's just so many ways, right? If you start to think about like how can I add and where are my sources? And I don't like to do just one. I mean, like this guy, where did he get these flowers? I mean, he probably either he painted them, right, or he outsourced them, right? So
Mhm.
you can see, like, if we were gonna make this image, we would start with a figure, we would lay her down on the panel, and then we would either, cut these flowers out and then glue
Mhm.
them on, and then we would wax them, right? So it's like a 1, 2, 3 step process. So
Mhm.
sometimes I like to do even collage underneath, add a layer of wax, and then add some stenciled flowers, or
Mhm. Mhm.
you can print make, you can do the jelly plate printing right on the surface of the wax. You can transfer flowers, you can use stampers of flowers. You also, can technically trace flowers. So you can draw into the wax flowers, right?
Oh,
So
right.
again, you have to kind of think of like all of the processes of getting the flowers on there, and then which do you like, and what look are you going for?
Right. Well, the other thing that you showed me is that I liked was taking the tissue paper
Hmm.
and making little flowers. So, and I like that on
Right.
the same picture. I mean, yeah, I see. I think, but even when I'm doing the practice pieces,
Hmm.
like I have a flower image underneath, or like the one with the the girl in the water, and she looked like Frida Kahlo, with the orchids on her head. So
Hmm.
that was a collage of other flowers I took. So we tried that. I'm finding I just well, let me go back to what I love about your work. There've been where you just paint in flowers, and they're so beautiful, and they're
Right, and
abstract.
those I'm hand painting, so I can try to teach you how to hand paint them. A lot
Okay.
of people that work with me, want that. Like they want me to teach them how to do that. And I literally joke around and I say it's like it's about all of my skills. It's like it just is the one that it's one of those ones that I've worked the least at having and comes
It's
the
just
most natural.
natural.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's and I think what it is because it's like one of those really weird things where it's just like you're not trying hard
Hmm.
and it's just happening. So from you and for someone who's trying to learn it, it's like you're going to try hard and it's going to, be like where you
I
have to kind of let go. But I will teach you how, and you can watch me do it and then even make a little video when you're with me or whatever. And
yeah, I'd like to do. I'd like to have that as something. Yeah, I do want to learn. I feel like it's holding me back because I've tried the others, and I'm not saying I'm good at the others. I can
Mhm.
certainly do more practice, but every time I say I'm going to do a practice piece with flowers, and I'll have, you know, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm trying
Right.
to
So
paint on
one
top.
of one of the things I can technically recommend, and it's very
Yeah.
much, I think that art is very much like playing I'm just going to use the violin as an example.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
like violinists, like when you start out playing the violin, you play like all of those scales. Like
And the arpeggio.
you play
Yeah.
horrible, intervals of thirds, and then you play them in flats, and then you play them in sharps, and then you play
Right.
them flats and sharps together. And I do think that in a weird way, like while you're trying to make these pieces of art, you should also just be practicing on small boards, like
Yeah.
scrappy pieces of chipboard or
Mhm.
cheap
Mhm.
whatever, the cheapest materials you can get, and that's why I'm always asking Duncan to bring me chipboard or scraps,
Yeah.
leftover things from work, so that I don't have to spend money on these boards, but
Yeah.
I can kind of just like practice, right? And
Mhm.
it's like I
Mhm.
can go 1, 2, 3. I can put some gesso down. I can put some wax on. I can put
Mhm.
another layer of wax on. I could, make a flower stencil, and then it's like, okay, what if I heat it and shave it? And again, like these are the flow chart sort of things. And
Mhm.
then if you do them, then when you make one that you like, you can go, oh yeah, like
That's I
that's
wanna go for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's so hard, I think, intellectually to be like attached to the photo and trying to work on the photo, work on the balance of the composition, work on the lights and darks, work on the color, you know. It's a lot going through your mind at one time, where if you kind of like get a couple of these techniques really under your belt, then
Mhm.
you'll just like have more confidence to just kind of go and apply them where you want them. And we can work on that. That's a great thing to work on. But one of the things I was going to say that helped me
Mhm.
was just consistently painting flowers,
Mhm.
using the pictures of the flowers to paint them.
Yeah. Okay. And I've been trying that, and every time I look at it, I said, "Ugh, I don't like this. I don't." It's. I
Okay,
think I've
so
said
but go back to practicing, like
yeah.
take flowers that you like, and remember your flower sources can be from a magazine.
Right.
They can be black and white outline drawings. So you kind of need to trick yourself into finding the best way for you to do it. You know, um, I like the combination of some type of actual flour, wax, and then some type of sort of stencily flour on top, because it
Mhm. Mhm.
just gives me that little bit of like push and pull between like not literal and abstract. It gives me that
Mhm.
little balance between the two.
Mhm.
So I
I
can
th
demonstrate that for you, and I can also give you some good source materials, but like, did I ever share with you like the downloadable, you can get like downloadable vintage flowers and from the internet, and you can print them out and use them as collage elements.
Yeah, I think I've tried that. I've tried doing my own flowers. I've tried doing Xerox. I tried some that you printed.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess I'm probably just giving up too soon. I just do one thing and I say, oh, I don't like it. But
Yeah.
I feel I need some reference underneath, just as a photograph or whatever, stick on or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Are you also just free painting flowers sometimes? I
Yeah,
mean,
sometimes.
that yeah, so, see,
And
I
free painting flowers with wax, because you know what, I think I really am a believer in this whole muscle memory thing.
mhm,
And it's
mhm,
like when you've used the brush to paint a flower like so many times, you're kind of just going to remember how you constructed it when you were sort of looking at it and doing it, and
yeah,
versus like
yeah,
having it there and doing it.
right,
So
okay,
and for me, like too, almost um 5 petals with the wax brush, equals a flower, and it just comes with time. Just
okay.
looking at
Yeah, 'cause
patterns,
I
practicing.
definitely wanted I don't want that's not my main goal, but I definitely wanna be much more, confident and facile with it so that I can use it to enhance the photographs,
Right.
going back, so, yeah.
Right, and I just bought a bunch more stencils. I mean, I can definitely, when you're here in my studio, show you which stencils work for me.
Okay.
Some of them are definitely better and easier to paint, and I just think more believable. There's a lot of different types of stencils. I mean, um, like this one, oddly enough, is like one of my favorites. And I see flower, like I guess it's like something that I just see. Like this stencil has always just worked so well
Oh,
for me.
oh, that's beautiful, yeah. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So like then finding these stencils, because it just has enough of that floral,
Mhm.
it just has like enough. And so to me, like I like to make things like weird things like this, because without the photos, because they remind me of like all the things about wax that I love. So I
Mhm.
could just totally see, if there was a woman in here or
Mhm.
whatever, I
Mhm.
could just put her in there,
Yeah.
and it would just make sense with all that kind of waxy texture, you
But
know.
even like that, it's a beautiful design, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Mhm.
sequence of textures. This is corrugated cardboard,
Mhm.
and this is actually, and you know what's interesting? This is actually a layer of fabric waxed onto cardboard and then painted on top. So this is like the fabric's actually in there.
The fabric's in there, and is it like cheesecloth or?
Like this thin lacy stuff.
Yeah, and then, but those flowers are stenciled.
They're stenciled on top.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I just was kind of going through, I mean, this, I know there's still a lot of work.
You really have to find the stuff, the material stuff, and the flower patterns that speak to you, because not all the flowers, not all the stencils work. I just did buy a couple more stencils, and I do have a certain look that I like. I love these. It's cute too. Like, I don't know if you watch a lot of demos on Instagram or whatever, but the jelly arts people are very, very generous with sharing. I find a lot of similarities between printmaking and painting with encaustic. And the similarities for me are about that layering process. So everything in printmaking is about layering.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so what order does the stuff go on? Does it go on the plate or does it go on the paper? Like, those are sort of like technicalities. What materials are you using, to transfer? Are you using inks? Are you using paints? But at the end of the day, it's like they share stencils. They share, you really can you can really notice what colors look good layered together. Like, I've been noticing this one artist that I really like. She does almost like gradients, and then she does gradients of reverse. So like one layer would be a gradient of like blue, dark blue to light blue. And it's almost like, or even two colors. So it would be like blue and purple. And then the next layer is a contrasty layer, right? So it's a gradient of like red to orange. I don't know. These things are just like, they if you just surround yourself with them, then they do, your brain sort of records them in your subconscious.
Well, I hadn't sent these to you, but I was playing a little bit more with color and stencil. Just and different textures I've gotten.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. And I think that's when we made that really wonderful breakthrough for your work, is when you did it without the photo and you were like, I love this. And then you could kind of take like it's almost like A plus B equals C. And you could take A for technique plus the photo and then have the finished piece. Right. And that's really all you're doing. Yeah.
This is another one.
I love them.
Yeah, I've been trying to find, I don't have the animal, but I found nicer lace that I want to, experiment with, but also experimenting with the different colors. Yeah. So that I definitely see the value of doing these little practice boards.
Yeah.
Not trying to have even a flower image underneath and trying to do that. Just go with color and texture right now.
Yeah. And I mean, this is just something just funny because like I'm always looking, I mean, I look at all kinds of art, but like last night I was just looking at these, and this is actually the company that I bought.
Oh, look at that. Oh, I see.
But this is, I mean, this is a little bit too, for my work, this is over illustrated, but it does also give me a lot of really nice information about like, oh, a green encaustic background with like a nice pink flat. Like, I start to dissect this piece of furniture and sort of the way that they constructed it. And also it has that, what I was just mentioning to you, the gradient where it's darker green at the bottom, middle green. And I always talk about this when I paint on the palette, is I like to have the gradients of my encaustic paint on my palette so that when I put them on, it's not all one color.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is, look, these are the stencils. These are the, this is a screenshot. But I just thought this was beautiful. So I look at a lot of different types of, this is furniture restoration,
Oh, okay.
But like, that's a beautiful piece of furniture, and the flowers are applied so nicely. So I didn't buy this transfer, but I bought one similar to it. So I'm just curious about how that's going to play.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and you got to just try different things. Like, I mean, I have like even this, I really wish I didn't buy this book though, actually now, but I did. But like this massive book of flowers,
Oh my God.
And it's like, but I know I bought this mat. I mean, you're welcome to like Xerox it while you're here. But like really the best part of it is the cover. Like to me, like that's the best part of it is the cover. But then I like have to kind of like really say like why do I love the cover? And then one of the things that I love about the cover is I love the flowers like all sort of over themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love like the very, the bouncing around of the purple, all the different
Yeah,
colors.
yeah,
Because this
yeah,
is sort of like how a bouquet would really be.
yeah.
And then you can kind of, but like inside the book, like I don't love these single, I don't
Mhm,
really love these single floral. They're like
mhm.
I can't work with these unless I, cut them out and put them together,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
can, but I love this.
yeah, yeah, it's very luscious.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, but this is a good thing to keep around because it shows you, where the flower needs to be darker and where the flower
Mhm,
needs to be
mhm,
lighter and how
mhm,
every petal needs to be constructed in more than one color.
mhm.
So I think
That
I've been trying to,
that has been helpful when I'm doing these flower studies that I don't like, but it really has made me look at the different shades of color and yeah. So
yeah.
okay, well,
Okay.
so
So let's
I
look at
think
the,
the other thing is pro I may have to come back in the summer for your
oh
June
yeah.
workshop.
Oh
That
my God,
sounds
you have to
great.
come. Can you come for the June workshop? It's going to be
I would
so
love
good.
to. I'm a little hesitant to decide because I have to have foot surgery in January, and I just want to see how I'm doing, how mobile I'll be. Um, but I would love to. I saw that and I thought, oh wow, that would be great. Yeah.
You should.
So
Oh my God, it's going to be really good. I mean, it's going to be small and it's just going to be so much fun. I mean, the day at the barn will be beautiful. We'll just get to, ooh, sorry. Ooh. So we'll just get to be with the horses and take pictures and draw and just hang out. And then we'll have a half day with them. We'll have a model at the barn and then we'll also have a model at the house.
yeah, I mean, because that sounds like so much fun to be shooting and waxing, painting and waxing.
Yeah. So
Um,
we'll be shooting, printing, editing, waxing. It's so fun. And it'll just be great.
mhm.
Um, okay. So let's look at the ones that you did.
Okay,
Okay.
but I'm also looking forward to this coming workshop because I think that it's just going to be so good to, you know, really watch you doing. I mean, we do that with the Zoom. It'll be good. Yeah, I think it'll be really good.
Awesome. Yeah,
And
no, it's
I'm
gonna be super
very,
fun.
and I'm also very happy, like I think that there's some beginners in there. I mean, just going over the workflow that's always helpful. So,
Yeah. Well,
it'll be
that's
good.
just foundation. I mean, that's just structural foundation. I
Yeah,
mean, Pam, I really love this one.
I do too.
I really, really love it. Okay, my only questions
Mhm.
um is this. Like
Where's that? Show me.
this wait, let me
Okay.
see. Maybe I should download it. Hold on, let me see if I can. Maybe I'll put it in Photoshop. I'll put it in Photoshop so I can just like this would be like my
The other thing with this, after our last session, I'd gotten to a certain place with it.
uh-huh.
I I put the tar on, and then I didn't like the face. It felt like her figure was in that well,
Mhm.
so I did something I probably shouldn't have done, but I just thought I'll do it. I
What?
re-waxed the wells, to bring it back kind of up to the surface. So I mean, there's the basic, but then I lost by doing that. I lost some of the tar, so then I had to put more tar back on.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, I'm liking her face a lot more now. I also did a little bit of a light wash, on that one side of her face. But anyway, so I did
Uh,
something I'm not supposed to do. Once you put the tar on, I think
oh.
you're supposed
Oh,
to do
you went out of order. You mean you did tar, you added more wax on top of the tar.
right, and then I had to put a little more tar on to. But anyway, so I'm not.
I mean, I think it should be fine. I mean, as long as it doesn't look like it's separating or it's like it didn't bind or it looks like it's gonna fall out. I think as long as it looks like it's gonna stay on there,
Okay,
it's fine.
all right. But I just wanted
I
to let you know I deliberately went out of the workflow
just
because
watch it. Did you fuse it?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't heat the, I'd be afraid to heat the tar up. I think that would
Oh
be
wait,
my
no.
concern.
I didn't. Did I feel? I can't remember. I don't
I mean,
remember.
if you're just on the waxy area and you're not on the tar area, that's fine. But
Yeah. I may have gone lightly over her body. I have to see. I also did a little bit of sandpaper on the texture, but I think it was too strong and it was taking the texture away, so I just stopped. No, I'm not doing it. I have to
Okay,
get
so
fine.
these are my reactions to it. One is this area here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, actually. So what I would do at what I would do with this area here is I think that this should be more orange. So what I
Okay.
would do is I would use a pan pastel
Mm-hmm.
or a pigment stick and sort of blur that line. So look, if I go over, I'm just going to be able to do it easily because, but just make this a little bit more orange so that you don't have
I
that
see
like
it.
circle. And the
Yeah.
circle came from the tool that you were using.
Right. Right.
So this is just a blending mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and like, wait, that, and like, I changed the and again, you can see here, like, as I'm doing this in Photoshop, I'm using opacity layers, right? But it just, you don't want it to be perfect, right? And you see how, like, even a little bit at that lighter
Yeah.
opacity
Exactly. Well,
just does makes it look
that's what I was trying to do to get away from the well because it looked like a circle, and it was
right. And
uh
I think that we've talked about this before too, where I say, like, you know, like even a little bit of, you know, like that's too
more.
specific, but like even
Okay.
a little bit of color, you
That's
know,
what I that's what I put in on the left side, but to do more of that kind of shading it in. Yeah. Okay.
right? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
it
that,
does.
and that's not going to be with a, you know, and then too, like say you rubbed it in with the pan pastel, then you can like remove it a little bit. You know, you can, again, like you're using these blending tools, like adding and
Mhm.
subtracting, right? To kind of, and I just think that that looks, it just doesn't as,
Yeah,
it's not as circular. Like there's a,
exactly. It's
right. And that
okay.
didn't take that much. The other thing is I don't understand, I don't think it matters like what this green texture is, but I don't know that I understand this hard loop here. So I
Uh,
just wanted to, I don't know why that would loop around. I feel like it's just an upward thingy.
okay.
And I don't know why, but just like compositionally, like it just like it's just, and again, like you don't have to scrape that green off. You just have to find a little bit of orange pan pastel
Yeah.
or something. And doesn't that look like, just look a little, it's more ambiguous. It just doesn't,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it
Because
just,
that bothered me. It was like stop. Your eyes stops
well,
there.
it's just that arch creates like a space as if it's like some type of,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and I like that. So I'm
thing.
softening the face and I'm softening that.
Right.
Okay.
And you don't script, like, again, like you have to kind of go through your toolbox. Let's just call it your toolbox of encaustic techniques to pick the right tool to fix the problem. So you don't want to pick something that's gonna like hurt the piece or take you backwards. Like I didn't, you know, I just, you could just take orange and put it over the green. And again, like you can control how
Mm-hmm.
bright this green is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, by literally not adding maybe orange wax, but maybe adding, you know, a little bit of orange pan pastel or that color, similar color
Mm-hmm.
to the waxy color. I mean, that just looks so much more organic and
Mm-hmm.
abstract. I think it's really beautiful.
Thank you. I do like that.
I think it's really beautiful.
Thank you.
And I love the process. I love the process of how you kind of discovered that color palette and applied it. And then you literally took like you literally took the A and the B and put them together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like magical. I'm gonna save this retouch file and send it to you.
Okay, that's great.
But
Um,
don't go in there feeling like you have to scrape it, right? That's gonna really mess you up.
I think I got
Because then
stuck.
that'll hurt the piece. You could hurt it. You could physically like damage it.
It was a little scary going over her face and scraping it, but I did
Yeah.
bring back. I wanted to soften it, but I did bring back more detail. So I'm kind of glad I did it, but I know that was not the best way to do it.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so this one, you said this one was almost finished, but I could lighten up the some of the pictures a little bit. So I did go in,
I
the
think it's
one.
great. I think it's great. I mean,
Oh,
I really
good.
do. I think it's great.
Well, for both of these, this one and the one before, I have, you've always encouraged me to us to do variations. So I have two new images for each of these that I want to do, and I'm going to ask if you can. Well, with this one, I'm going to ask if you can print one or two more
Yeah.
versions. I want to open up the canvas and listen to this. This is so much fun. I met a Korean woman who does this really cool origami, and she's
Uh-huh.
origami stars. And I thought
Okay.
that's what I want for this one. I'll open up the
Oh.
canvas, put the background, you had shown me, maybe make this line instead of a tree trunk, it's a sail. And
Mm-hmm.
then put these origami stars that she'll show
Oh.
me. So it's just like once the yeah, I like doing variations on a piece. It's like, oh, I
Yeah.
can totally do
Yeah.
it.
Well,
And
yeah, and you could really take this further. I mean, you could really put this on a bigger canvas and you could really
that's
create like an
exactly,
ocean. You could combine
yeah.
it with an oceanscape. I mean, there are so many really interesting things that you can do to expand
And
this
I was
idea.
already going, you had already, were encouraging me that way, and I've already worked some things up, but now it all sort of came together. This one feels just too crowded in a way, when I think about, oh, I could be opening up that whole
Okay,
right
so wait,
side.
let's do the same thing. Let me just play around with it. So I mean,
Okay.
there's a couple things about it that are a little bit confusing, and that I totally kind of understand what you're saying. What
Yeah,
happens is that the way this picture is laid out is there's no open space.
exactly. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
for whatever reason, it got crowded because it doesn't have
Hmm.
any air. Let's
Hmm.
just say air or sky, or which is not a bad thing, but it does raise. So if you were gonna create this the open space, so okay, so this side over here
Hmm.
is forward. This is a wall, so this could be like a cave, right? So
Mm.
this kind of represents like
Mhm.
a cave. They're coming out of a cave, and then if they're in the rock right there,
Yeah.
then technically they would be like this would be,
Even lighter.
yeah, this would be like, you
Lighten it
know,
even more. Okay, I didn't lighten it enough. Okay. Yeah.
well, I don't know, let's just do it this way. And then, the nice thing about doing it this way is then you can go back and say, oh yeah, do I really like, right? And
I like that better.
you do
Right.
like that better. So what that allows is it just allows the brain almost like to have,
Some
like
some breathing
some
space.
breathing space. But I
Yeah.
do think that I'm not sure if you want, I mean, we can try it, but I don't know if you want to lighten this too, or if you want that to be, like
I
this,
kind of
like
like
it just reminds me of like a mountain where they're in the cave, and then
Mhm, mhm.
this would be, and then let's just see for argument's sake, if we added like another color, what if we added another color? If we added like a blue here, I don't know, let's just say, oh, that's like, I don't know why. This is where I'm like, you can see my Photoshop lameness. I mean, oh, I'm doing it right now. I don't want this to be bigger. I mean, and again, like I don't know if that's something that interests you, but like I would think of like a blue and brown sometimes look really nice. Oh yeah. I don't know. I'm not doing a good job with my painting right now.
I see. I understand what you're doing. Yeah, I get it. Huh. And
Right now, that would make this seem a little bit more of the sky, right?
mhm.
I mean, I did get it on her hand. I'm sorry, I'm not like,
No,
but
no, no, no. But I see where you're going with it. Would I do that? I'm more comfortable with pigments than the pastels. I don't know. The pastels.
well, the
I
pastels are going to be so much lighter. I mean, again, you have to figure out how are you going to make it lighter? How are you going to make it lighter? Are you going to scrape away, or are you going to add white? I wouldn't add white and caustic because I feel like that's going to get rid of all the texture and sort of evenness that you have there.
Mhm.
Um, Well, you also have to kind of like look at this and decide if that's really, if that's, and like we can go, let's save this one and let's compare them. So really, I can only really know right or wrong from comparison, right? So, and the
Okay.
nice thing is that we do have the technology to sort of,
Whoa, 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 whoa. I was trying to take a screenshot too.
oh, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Well, obviously,
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna send these to you too. Save
Now I like that. Yeah, and I would play around with color. I kind of like the monotone, but
yeah, and I
but
mean, you can use like the palest blue too. Let me see.
yeah. I'm also thinking if I do the open canvas with a blue sky, this one might be better like with a green or something different. Anyway, yeah, let me play with it. I mean, that's cool. Because you had said I could lighten it, and I was thinking just lighten the collage pieces, but no, I see what you're saying. And it's so cool the way you see it as a cave or you see it with a sail out in the ocean.
Yeah.
I never would have thought of that. Anyway,
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, to work with those, both of those.
Wait, where did your retouched one go? Wait, hold on, is this it? Oh, here we go. Okay, so here, this
Oh,
is the only way that I can do it is like, which, you
mm,
know, and then which one do you like better? So,
I do like the more open one because it just felt so.
right. But do you see how, why it felt like that?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that's great. It's like a triangle of light. Yeah.
Right. And that's sort of also like you can use, and then whatever you can put, you know, that this light explains the light on their bodies facing this light. So it makes
Oh,
sense.
right.
It's
Yeah.
logic, you know, and
Mhm,
that this is like part of the mountain or more rock, and that they're out
mhm.
like, yeah, the trees either like growing out of
Yeah.
these. It's lovely. I mean, it's really lovely. And then it's kind of like these rocks, it's almost like there's an avalanche. Like I would call this one avalanche because these look like rocks falling
Flowing, yeah,
outside and they're like, you know, holding on for dear life. It really has a lovely narrative because of it's represents like a serious, sometimes a seriously scary environmental change that they're, you know,
yeah.
looking at or foreseeing.
Oh, remember you showed me the last time, or maybe the time before that, this artist who was doing beautiful sketches, but using maps. And I wanted to let you know, I have
Oh,
an
Mark
old
Powell. Mark Powell. I just made my
Mark
kids memorize him. Mark Powell. Oh
Mark
yeah,
Paul.
and wait, just FYI, the Jasper Johns show is here in Philadelphia when you're here. So there's a ton of encaustic work in that show. You really need to try to
Oh,
go.
really?
So
Where
I
is
don't know how long, I don't know what all of your travel plans are and such, but you should really try to make time, carve time out to go to the Philadelphia Art Museum and see all of his
okay.
encaustic work.
No, I said to Cindy, I really, I'm dying to go to a gallery or art museum because I don't have that here. We have
No,
no.
yeah, and the Jasper Johns is essential for anybody working in encaustics.
Okay,
And
okay.
I did sign up for the encaustic conference this year.
Oh,
In
I saw
June.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
So I have a question going back
Yeah.
to Mark Powell. So I have this old dictionary that I can cut up, do it. So I don't know if you're interested for yourself, if you'd like me to cut a couple of these map pages out and bring them
Yeah.
to you. You would?
Yeah, but
Okay.
wait till you see the Jasper John show because he literally does all of these. They look like newspaper cutouts in
Oh,
like popsicle stick shapes. So they're, I can actually show them. Do you want to see them or do you want to wait to see them?
I'll wait. I'm going to ask
So
Cindy.
but
Who
he
does it.
literally makes like, I don't know if you know what tessellations are,
Yeah, yeah.
but like when you're like, when things are like patterned.
Right,
So he
right.
makes those and he cuts all of these pieces of paper and then waxes them to canvases. They're so beautiful. And then
Wow.
they're just like lightly
Cool.
colored. They're very abstract. I mean, they have no content, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
think the thing is too, you know, and you've been doing this, which is really nice, is like working with encaustics with figures is great. But really, you know, I think you're going to learn more and get more, you know, solid experience and footing, so to speak, you know, you using the encaustic with like abstraction or,
Yeah.
you know, doing that balance of both, you know.
Mhm, mhm. No, it's opening. Now I don't even want to take pictures that are realistic documentary anymore. It's like, no, that's not.
Right, right.
I want to see the story in it, and
Yeah.
and a little ambiguity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm
yeah,
glad all those things are opening up for you.
it is. It's fantastic. What a process.
That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
All right, so wait, let me go over just before we go for today. Let me just go over. Did you have anything else you wanted to show me
No,
before? I just
no,
want to go over your email and make sure that I have your printing instructions.
yeah, it's
I'm going to
pretty.
be actually be printing, and your friend said that she was going to print herself.
Does she know to do it on matte paper, that
Yeah,
type of?
she said, yeah,
Oh,
I,
cool.
yeah,
Okay.
she,
Huh. I
um,
haven't seen her in a long, long time, but we used to have a lot of fun in Bangkok. We do these artist explorations, and then we take one theme, and there were three of us, and we each do a different variation with whatever media we were working with. So yeah, it
oh,
was just fun. We had a good time,
that's
but I
awesome.
haven't seen her in a long time. So.
Wait, I'm going to stop recording.